This week I learned that if you're going to schedule a live stream on Friday, maybe you better go ahead and do the weekly update a day early. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update. Guys, I hope you've got your taxes done because filing day has come. So I know that lots of you guys don't live in the States and you have no idea what I'm talking about or care, but I think that paying taxes is one thing we all can just say, hey, why are we still doing this? But again, I don't think that's why you guys have tuned in. So guys, you can see where my mind is right now. It's a very, very busy time in my profession, and it's kind of dominating all my free time when I'm not reading. But guys, I've been doing lots of reading. It's really, really been great. So let's do like usual, guys. I'll go ahead and kick this off, and let's talk about what I am reading. Guys, I did finish To Green Angel Tower, the biggest book I've ever read in my life, I think. Fun. Here's the thing is, I was about 200 pages from the end. I'm like, there's no way he can wrap all this up. Guys, the last 200 plus pages of this are take a Sanderlanche and just inject steroids into your eyeballs, because that's what the last couple hundred pages of this are. They are just electrifying, so good. And I wouldn't say that I feel like everything was answered, because there are some things that are kind of left, because he always knew he wanted to return to this world, and one of the main characters actually even says this isn't the end of the story when they're in the closing moments of it. But guys, it was so good. Might be a little, some people might say, oh, it's a little too happy. Now remember, guys, this is traditional fantasy. This was when we started to make that transition, from fantasy into, the more darker content that a lot of us are used to now. So I think one of the gripes I've heard is it does kind of have like a Disney ending or something like that. It's a little more a happy ending, but I definitely think you don't get there without taking some major, major losses along the way. And there's some really, really big moments that are just fantastic. I'm very, very happy with how he ended it, and I'm very happy with my first adventure into Tad Williams here. And for all those who have been curious about, my brother was the one who pushed me to read this series. If we had talked about it, we were planning to talk over Easter weekend about just good as me and him just talk. Not on the channel, guys. I know some people have been like, are you going to have your brother come on the channel? No. My brother's not the get in front of the camera type, guys. He's like, no, absolutely not. But him and I are just going to talk on the phone and have a good time talking about the series, in which it'll really consist of him telling me, yeah, I've been telling you for 20 years, you idiot. I'm glad you finally did it. But I am glad that I finally did it, and yes, I probably am an idiot, but I did like the series, and it's been mostly very positive. The people who have finished it on the Discord have been very, very positive about it, so I'm happy that we made it through a full read-along. It seems like everyone bailed on Great Coats, everyone bailed on Malazan, but it feels like everyone just about is making it on this one, or they plan to make it. They're at least in the process of making it. They have no intentions of quitting at the moment, so very, very cool stuff. And guys, I also finished Insomnia this week. So yes, I finished these two just clunker of books this month. And Insomnia, like I said last week, was one I didn't really plan to read. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing where I just said, hey, why not? I need some, continue the multiverse, because I had a great time with Dolores Claiborne. And I just said, this could be like my all month read. I didn't expect to get through it like I did, because everything that I remembered about this book was that it started slow, and then it just had a bunch of confusing stuff. Now, what I didn't recall was that when I read it the first time, I hadn't read Dark Tower yet. This is basically a Dark Tower book, guys. It really is. It doesn't take place, in that world, but it has so much stuff basically building out the lore for the Dark Tower. There's so much stuff about, stuff I don't want to get into if you haven't been into Dark Tower yet, but lots of things that it explains. You get a lot of stuff about the Crimson King in here. Hell, I think you get more about Crimson King in here than you get in Dark Tower. So it's amazing. So it really got me excited to do some Dark Tower, and that's why I know I said last week that I was going to wait, but guys, I had to go ahead and pick up Wizard and Glass and start reading it. And look, I'm flying through it too, because the thing about this is I'll be interested to see how the people on my Discord that are doing a first time reading of this, how they feel about this series. Because I remember when I read it, knew it was coming out. I was in his book club at the time, and I knew it was coming out, and I said, I've never read those, so I went and got the first 3 paperbacks and burned through them in like a week, and then read this on release day. And I liked it quite a bit, but here's the thing. I didn't wait 7 years between book 3 and 4, And so I know a lot of fans at the time were really pissed off about it, because in case you don't know, I don't think this is too much of a spoiler to tell you, this book has maybe 5% of the real-time journey that you've done in books 1 through 3, and the other 95% of it is a flashback of what happened before the series of our main character. It's his history. And I loved it. I had been waiting. I wanted to know his backstory for that whole time, so I didn't mind. But again, I didn't have to wait. So I'm thinking that the binge readers, it's not going to bother them very much because they haven't had to wait. Now, over time, I think that this book has grown to where a lot of people say it's their favorite Dark Tower book now. So I'll be interested to see how they approach it. Me, guys, on this reading, I'm liking it even more because I've just been saying there's so much stuff in a reread of the Dark Tower that you catch that you didn't catch before, especially, when you've really gotten more well-versed in the multiverse and knowing everything that it's talking about. There's such huge multiverse connections in this book so far. And it's a great read, guys. I'm just flying through it. Just getting that story of Roland's first quartet. It's very, very exciting to hear all that backstory that we've been building up on. And yeah, I'm going to go through it now with the read along there. I'm going to, Wolves of the Calla next month. Then we're going to do, Song of Susanna, then Dark Tower, and we're even going to do Wind Through the Keyhole at the end. So that'll be kind of taking the off the schedule a little bit for Into the Multiverse, and we're going to finish Dark Tower, and then I'll get back to the regular multiverse schedule. So for those people who are excited that I will be, speeding up Dark Tower, I think you'll be happy. If you want me to speed up Into the Multiverse, you might have to wait a little bit. But again, I can talk about the tower quite a bit, as you can see, and I'm so excited to be back in that world because I read Wastelands last June, and I felt like, all right, man, I really am missing the tower, and if I continue just to go into multiverse schedule, it's gonna be like almost 2 years between Dark Tower books, and I didn't want to do that on a reread. I felt like I was gonna forget everything that I just started. But guys, that leads me to what am I going to read? Now, obviously, I'm going to finish this. I think I'll finish this weekend the way I'm flying through it. Like I said, I'm over halfway at this point, and this is where the story really just completely just takes off like a rocket. And I have no problems believing that I'll probably finish that over Easter weekend. You've got the 3-day weekend here. And then I'll probably go ahead and get into Hunger of the Gods, guys. I know I kept saying that last week. The thing was, I planned on doing Hunger of the Gods this week, but I was just so excited about Dark Tower after I finished Insomnia, I just couldn't wait. And I know it sucks because a lot of people on the server aren't starting until the 19th. If you follow Dark Tower or Stephen King in general, you know that there's a significance to the number 19. So I respect that they are doing that. But like I said, I was just too excited. I just went ahead and picked it up and started. So I'll be doing Hunger of the Gods, next week. I already started today. I read the first 2 chapters. It started off really awesome. If you know anything about John Gwynne, guys, you can fly through his books really fast. But that's really my plans for next week is to really make sure that I get that done, and then maybe pick up Berserk, because I do want to finish volume 33 at least, because I'm so close to the end of that arc, and I can finally do that review for you guys. So that's really what I've got planned over the next week and a half. And then, guys, after that, I don't know if I'll get them all in April, but I am planning to start Dritz. Like I said, I don't know if I'll get the whole trilogy, Dark Elf, in, but I'll at least get Homeland in. But I don't know, the way I've been flying through these big, massive books, I think that Insomnia by itself is longer than this, So, hell, I think anything I'm reading, I think that, the John Gwynne book might be bigger than this by itself. I don't know. I don't know how fast these read. Everybody told me that they read really fast, so I don't imagine that they're going to be a huge problem. But that is really what I've got going on for the rest of April, guys. So, yeah, exciting month so far, and I'm really having just a banger of a reading month. And I don't know if it's because it's just Dark Tower stuff, and I'm excited about Dark Tower or what, but the way the Tad Williams book ended, it's a new John Gwynne book. So these are just exciting times, guys. I am just loving April so far. So why don't we go ahead and talk about what happened this week on the channel, guys. Some things were expected, some things unexpected, and one thing I meant to do that I didn't get to this week, obviously with the shorter thing here, doing this on Thursday instead of Friday. First, I did do my ranking Stephen King Part 2. That was years 1983 through 1989. Been very well received. Like I said, I think the main comment on Part 1 was, this is very good, but where's Part 2? Here's the thing, guys. You're going to have to wait a little bit for Part 3 because there's lots of those I have to reread before I feel like I could fairly rank those. So there is going to be a little bit of a wait before Part 3. I've kind of done an outline, guys. I think it's going to be about 6 or 7 parts when it's all said and done. And some people are like, yeah, bring it on. Other people are like, oh, are you really milking it? No, I just don't want to release a 7-hour video, guys. I mean, I just talked about what I think 11 books in the last one. The video was almost 30 minutes long, and that was really rushing it on some of those things. So just I talk about King, I can go quite a bit, you know. So it's really just I want to make sure that I'm going to give it the care that it deserves. I've been trying to do this ranking thing for a long time, and I want to make sure that I put the time into it to do it right, so I don't feel like I want to do it again in 2024 or something like that, you know. So I'm taking my time on it. But as for part 2, I was very happy with how it turned out. I feel pretty good about my ranking. I'm looking at it already, and like some things, I'm like, really, you got that book ahead of The Shining and things like that. And that's going to happen. Like I said, it's like trying to pick my favorite Beatles song. You know, by tomorrow it'll change. So, but as of right now, I still feel really good. I don't plan on making any adjustments to the list as I go along of the stuff that I've already ranked. You know, just kind of putting stuff back in where it goes when I do the next part. So, again, sorry if you guys are upset about a wait for part 3, but like I said, I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. Something I feel like I've done right, guys, is build this community over the last 3 years. So I just want to kind of make a quick video real fast of my 3rd anniversary, which did happen on Tuesday. It was 3 years exactly to the day when I uploaded my first my introduction video on this channel. And I just kind of, the idea I had of it, because in year 2, people would ask me, hey, when you do it, will you give some advice to people? What kind of helped you get to that point? So this year, I just kind of make like a new theme each year. This one, I was going to look back at my original video and see, hey, did you stay, with the mission statement you had? And I think for the most part, yeah. I did say there was going to be mostly old books, and I've done a lot of old stuff, but once I got interest in the channel, I got lots of recommendations from you guys and lots of newer things, and that's why I picked up a lot more newer things. But I did say I was going to be really rapid with it. I kind of did basically lay out the blueprint for what became the weekly update in that video. So I thought that was really neat and interesting to go back to. But, just wanting to build a positive community. I feel like I've done that. So very good reception on that video. I mostly positive. People are very, very happy that they've been here a long time. I like hearing the people tell me that they've been here since like 500 subs and stuff. That's really crazy to think about. And it doesn't feel like 3 years. It's wild to think about when I just did this, when I did it while I was going through school, because I was just like, I don't know anyone that reads these kind of books. I want someone to talk to about this stuff. Because I tried doing it on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and there wasn't really anybody talking back. So it was fun for me to kind of do that, and a happy accident that it was, because it never really meant to be a full-time thing. It was just something I was going to kind of do on the side while I was doing that podcast. So here we are, guys. Really, really exciting. Now, the unexpected thing was I forgot I had scheduled to do a Talk About Nothing with Andrew over at Andrew's Wizardly Reads. And he messaged me that morning and was like, hey, for the call tonight, are you going to use Zoom or are we using StreamYard? And I've always been curious about StreamYard. I was like, do I really want another thing I got to kind of try to monitor and take care of? But I said, you know what? If you don't mind, let's give it a shot and let's do it live and see, so that way we can take comments while we do it. Now, it turned out to be a lot of fun. I had a blast. Me and him both said, if it wasn't for adult responsibilities, we felt like we probably could have talked twice as long, for sure. Some of the feedback I got, a lot of people liked that we had it with where people could talk to us, ask comments or make comments, and ask us to answer questions and things like that. Other people have been like, yeah, I don't know, I kind of like the Talk About Nothing format where you aren't distracted. You guys are just a one-on-one conversation, and I get both sides of it. A lot of people said they feel like it was just a live stream that Andrew hosted with me, which he did. So I'm undecided if I'm going to do it that way going forward. I did like the idea of being able to take some questions. I mean, even in that, Andrew and I got so engaged in a conversation, I was well over an hour behind on the comments. So that's just something I think I'll just continue to listen to feedback on and see how it goes. But Andrew, great guy. I hope you guys did sub to his channel. Just one of the nicest gentlemen I've met since I've been doing this. And I wish I could borrow some of his energy, because I got to suck down the coffee to even have this much. So great dude, and I appreciate him taking the couple hours out of his life to do that with me last night, and for letting for being my guinea pig while I learned how to use StreamYard, which I'll have a new experience with when I do the live stream tomorrow. So that'll be a lot of fun. So next month, guys, Joanna is going to be my guest on Talk About Nothing. So I'll get with her and see if we're going to do it live or if we're going to do the go back to the original format of it. But I'll make a decision well beforehand and let her know. So that's what we'll do with Talk About Nothing going forward. I always like to try new things on the channel. Sometimes they work, sometimes they do not. As for some next week plans, guys, I do have the live stream tomorrow. I hadn't done one, and gosh, it's been like 9 months or so since I did one last. I figured for 3 years we can celebrate, with a little Ask Me Anything. As far as how long I'll do that, as always, guys, it just depends on how much you guys are talking to me, how much it's just me getting the same questions over and over, that kind of thing. I'm off work. It's a holiday here in the States, Good Friday, so I'll be off. So we're going to start about 3 p.m. my time, Houston, Texas. You guys can go to worldclock.com. I think it's timeanddate.com. One of those two, and find out what time that is where you guys are going to be. So I would love if you guys will hop on there and ask me some questions, because I always love answering those questions. So yes, obviously I didn't get to my Why You Should Read Tolkien this week. Just too many things going on with the live stream and then moving this up. I forgot about the conversation with Andrew, things like that. So we'll go ahead and move the Why You Should Read Tolkien to next week, because guys, I haven't even put together an introduction for that, and that's probably going to take some time. It's going to take some time for me to even choose which quotes I want to use for it. So we'll go ahead and move that to next week, along with my 2 Green Angel Tower review. So I'm going to do both parts. I'm just going to do it as one book for a review to close out that series. Like I said, I don't usually like to do sequel books, but since this was a read along for the channel, I'm going to go ahead and review all 3 of those as well. So you can find the first 2 on the channel if you missed those. Then it's just going to kind of come down if I got some time. Now that I'm reading Dark Tower, I've got some ideas for some stuff. I get a ton of questions about Dark Tower, about what books do I have to read first, what order should I read them in, should I read One Through the Keyhole here, things like that. So I'm thinking about doing like a Dark Tower most frequently asked questions, kind of just a quick little, almost like a rapid review kind of segment where it's just like less than 10 minutes. But again, when I talk about King, it ends up being longer anyway. So we'll see what that happens. And also I'm considering every year around, the second quarter of the year, I'll go ahead and do my looking ahead to the series I'm interested in doing the next year. So I know a lot of people think that's well in advance, but guys, I like to plan 12, 15 months in advance. I know that's crazy to some people. It's just how we work in finance. So I might be doing my looking ahead to, some 2023 series that I want to begin or something like that. So I've got one for 2021. I got one for 2022. You can go back and look at those and see if I've kept myself honest or not. Now, this isn't like the one I did this year where it was like the series I'm going to be doing in permanent ink. These are just series I'm interested in for next year, and they may or may not happen. So that really just depends on what kind of week it is, guys. We do got, Cub Scouts camping trip, and then we got our family vacation the weekend after that. So things are going to kind of be touch and go here for the next few weeks. I hope you will bear with me while I do that. So before I go, you guys want to talk about some TV and movie things? I got a couple here. I did take the kids to see Sonic the Hedgehog Part 2, guys, and it was a lot of fun. It really, really was. I think it was better than the first one. And here's the deal. Those movies, they are definitely aimed for the kids. Don't get me wrong. But if you're of my generation and we grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, that was it. It has so many things that fans of those games are going to appreciate. Everything from like the Chaos Emeralds to Sonic, sucking the bubble for air while under the water. Stuff that was just so much of the ringtone playing the Green Hill Zone music and things like that. Just such fun things, I think. And I'm not going to lie, guys. There's one scene where it's Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails, like all 3 of them like running at the screen. I'm just like, if this had happened when I was my kid's age, I would have lost my mind, So it's just fun. It's a great time. And I'll be honest, this is the funniest Jim Carrey has been in a movie since like Me, Myself, and Irene. Just straight, absolute loony Jim Carrey that we've known and loved there in the 90s. It's so funny. So funny in that. He has so many things, almost like in that Pixar way, where they can do like those innuendo or play on words that kids, go right over their heads, and the parents will be laughing at it, like, the shiitake of a planet, things like that. Just so good. Yeah, he's great in it, and the way they did it, he has said that he's probably retiring. Jim Carrey changes his mind every day on what he's going to do. So they did kind of leave a trap door in case they want to go with a new villain for Part 3. And yes, there's going to be a Part 3, guys. It had a pretty successful weekend. And I'm here for it. I think it's great. I want them to start like a Sega movie universe. Give me a Golden Axe movie. Give me an Altered Beast movie. Give me Comics Zone, the movie. I take all these. That would be a lot of fun. So they got that really cool intro screen at the beginning now, almost like an MCU movie. And I'm like, wow. be neat if they made like a little shared universe. That'd be like a lot of fun, right? So they're interested. And I just can't believe Nintendo's letting them have this. I thought for sure Nintendo would be like, all right, we got to do something. I know they're doing that animated Mario movie, but I'm saying like what they're doing with this. After that original Mario movie in the 90s, Nintendo was like, yeah, we're not lining out our properties for movies anymore. But I got to think they've got to be, well, maybe I need to get involved in this because Nintendo, they do like them some money. So I could see them maybe doing something. I think a Legend of Zelda streaming series could be really great, or Metroid. Metroid would be amazing, guys. But lots of other things going on. Showed my kid Rambo. He did come and ask me the other night. I told you guys last week he's really interested in 80s action movies now, and he asked me the night, Dad, can we watch a Rambo? And I was like, I have been waiting almost 10 years for you to ask me that question. So we watched First Blood. And he liked it. He really liked the survival parts, because he plays like the Minecraft and things like that, where you got to use a lot of the elements and stuff to survive. Subnautica played that a lot. So he's real interested in that part. But he was like, I thought the body count would be higher. He's all about the body count now. That's what action movies in the 80s were, right? So I was like, I think Rambo 2 might be more what you're looking for. And that little sadist said, really good, liked the movie a lot. But he did say, still think the body count could have been higher. So I was like, you got a great future in Grimdark, my man. So it's really great sharing these movies with my kid. And as far as Rambo and Rambo 2, I mean, again, Stallone, it was Arnold and Stallone in the 80s. That was everything, right? And people don't know how big Rambo 2 was when I was a kid. And it was just amazing how that just kind of like American patriotism was like at its peak during the Reagan era. And Rambo 2 was just like the embodiment of that. And we all had like the survival. I can't believe our parents let us have a survival knife, dagger that's this long. But hey, it's got a compass on the end, so it's educational, right? But yeah, those movies are just... Don't go into them expecting like some crazy good plot. Actually, I think the first one has a really good plot and a really sensitive topic, and how America treated their veterans when they returned from Vietnam. It has a really good message in there. But part 2 really just a kick-ass, just action movie that everyone spoofed. Even Arnold tried to get in on that. He made Commando after the success of that movie. So just great movies that have aged great. They are unapologetically 80s. Don't get me wrong, but I think that First Blood, you could set that in any time period and it would work. So, I recommend those movies if you guys haven't yet. Obviously, Stallone, he's got 2 really, really iconic characters, Rambo and Rocky, so you need to watch at least those series, right? So that's all I've got for this week, guys. There are some other things, like they talked about the Stranger Things 4 guys trailer. Percy Jackson has cast Percy Jackson for the Disney Plus streaming series. Gilbert Gottfried sadly has passed away. We lost him. We lost Bob Saget. We lost Louis Anderson. We lost Norm Macdonald. All my favorite old comedians are passing now. It's really, really sad to see. And you know what? You got an opportunity. If you aren't really sensitive and you don't get upset or offended really easily, check out Gilbert Gottfried and some of those roasts that he did. The one he did on David Hasselhoff, that is some of the most vicious stuff I've ever seen. So rest in peace to the guy that made supplemental insurance commercials with a duck. Really, really funny, but a great comedian. And sad to see all my favorite comedians passing away, but this is just the way of life, right? You can't beat Father Time. He is still undefeated. So guys, that was my week. What is your week looking like? Drop in the comments and let me know what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you are playing. Obviously, there are no wrong answers, but have yourselves a fun and safe Easter weekend.